Hello friends, welcome. On this lesson we are talking about absolute value equations. Alright, if we wanted to solve the absolute value equation that says absolute value of x equals 7. Before we solve this, let's just real quick refresh our memory on what is absolute value. Real quick, let's refresh our memory on absolute value. So an absolute value is the distance from zero, or how far away a number is from zero. So if we have a number line, and we want to talk about the absolute value of 2, well, it's exactly 2 places from 0. So the absolute value of 2 is 2. Well, let's say that we want the absolute value of negative 2. It's also 2 places from 0. So the absolute value of negative 2 is also 2. All right, now let's look at how to solve an equation, absolute value of x equals 7. So we're looking for what can we plug in for x to make it 7? Well, what number is 7 places from 0? So the absolute value of x could be negative 7. So you include both, the negative and the positive. All right, this one says the absolute value of x plus 3 equals 12. So the first thing I'm going to do is set up 2 separate equations to account for the distance left of 0 and the distance right of 0. So we would have the absolute value of x plus 3 equals 12. On one side we're going to have and you'll notice I've taken away the absolute value bars, so that's part of our first step also. And our other equation is going to be x plus 3 equals 12. Now I'm going to solve each of these like you would just a regular plain old equation. So our answers are negative 15 and 9. All right, this one looks a little different. You'll notice there's some extra stuff involved in this one. So we have the absolute value of x minus 1 plus 8 equals 17. Before we can split into our 2 equations, we have an extra first step. So the first thing we're going to do is isolate the absolute value bars. To do that, I'm going to subtract 8. I'm left with absolute value of x minus 1 equals 9. Now we can split into our 2 equations and then solve like normal. So x is negative 8 and x is 10. For this example, it says 2 times the absolute value of 3x minus 5 equals 14. Here again, we have to first isolate the absolute value bars. To do that, I've got to divide by 2. And now I'm going to split my 2 equations. And now we just solve like normal. So x is negative 2/3 and x is 4.